In 1933, 1 in 4 Americans was out of work. Families sat around tables with almost nothing on them, trying to make something from nearly nothing. What your grandparents cooked in those years has been almost completely erased. Not by accident, but because when the hard times ended, people left those meals behind the way you leave a bad dream, quickly and without looking back. Today, we are counting down 25 forgotten meals our grandparents made during the Great Depression. Watch until the end, because the truth about Depression-era cooking will change the way you think about food, waste, and what resilience actually looks like. Number 25, tomato and bread. Soup, stale bread, days old, hard as a board, torn into hot tomato broth with a scraping of bacon grease. The bread dissolved and thickened it, turning almost nothing into something that filled you. Your grandmother called it supper. She never once called it poverty. Number 24, Hoover stew macaroni. Hot dogs, canned tomatoes, and corn. One pot, under 15 cents. Children who grew up on Hoover stew became the adults who scraped every plate clean and flinched when someone threw away a half-eaten meal. Number 23, poor man's meal. Cubed potatoes and onions fried in lard. Hot dogs added at the end. Clara Canucciari, who survived the Depression and became a YouTube legend in her 90s, taught this to millions who had never heard of it. The real genius was simple. Hot dogs were cheaper than eggs. Number 22, cornmeal mush. Cornmeal stirred into boiling salted water until thick, served with molasses, or sliced cold and fried crisp the next morning. What their grandmother made for pennies, restaurants today call polenta and charge $12 a plate for. Number 21, navy bean soup. Dried navy beans, a ham hock, an onion, salt, started the night before, slow simmered until morning. A pound of beans cost a few cents and fed a family of 4. We lost something when we stopped waiting for food. Number 20, fried cabbage and pasta, haluski. Shredded cabbage wilted in lard until caramelized, tossed with whatever pasta was in the box. In Polish and Slovak households across Pennsylvania and Ohio, that smell meant the family was eating tonight no matter what. Number 19, dandelion salad. Step outside. Look at your lawn. Your grandmother saw dinner, young dandelion greens foraged for free, dressed with hot bacon fat and vinegar. And get this, what Depression-era families picked for nothing is now sold at specialty grocers as a superfood. Number 18, wacky cake. No eggs, no butter, no milk. A chocolate cake mixed in the baking pan from flour, cocoa, oil, vinegar, and water. Your grandmother made this for birthdays because she loved her children enough to find a way. The vegan baking community called it revolutionary. Your grandmother called it Tuesday. Number 17, water pie. Flour, sugar, butter, water, vanilla, poured into an unbaked crust and baked until set, also called hard times pie. There was a strange pride in the woman who sliced it and served it without a word of apology, as though it were made from the finest ingredients money could buy. Here is where things get personal. The meals on this list are not just recipes, they are survival strategies. Quiet acts of love from grandparents who refused to let their families go hungry. Your grandmother knew this without reading a single cookbook. She just knew. If any of these meals bring back a memory, drop it in the comments. And if you are new here, please subscribe. Number 16, mock apple pie. No apples, only Ritz crackers layered in a crust with sugar, cream of tartar, and lemon juice, baked until they absorbed the syrup and became somehow apple pie. A child who ate this in 1935 would have sworn it was the real thing. Their grandmother never told them otherwise. Number 15, peanut butter bread flour, baking powder, sugar, water, and peanut butter. A dense loaf carried to school wrapped in wax paper with nothing on it, because there was nothing to put on it. At 10 cents a pound, peanut butter was cheaper than eggs, and this bread stuck to your ribs through the morning. Number 14, creamed chipped beef on toast. Dried beef stirred into white gravy, spooned over toast. Your grandfather ate this on cold mornings before going out to look for work, not because it was good, but because it kept hunger away long enough to keep going. Number 13, mulligan stew. No fixed recipe. Whatever you had went into the pot. Homeless men riding freight trains pooled their scraps into communal stews One historical account records tobacco being added for flavor when nothing else was available. That detail alone tells you everything about how little there was. Number 12, potato soup. Diced potatoes, water, onions, salt, melancholic. There is a grief in a Depression-era pot of potato soup. The grief of a mother in February knowing what is in that pot is all there is and making it taste like enough anyway. Number 11, flour and water. Dumplings. Flour and water dropped by the spoonful into boiling broth. No eggs, no fat. Your grandmother's hands knew this dough the way they knew prayer, by feel, not by measurement, the way you do a thing done 1,000 times out of necessity. Here is where things get personal again. We look at Depression-era food and feel sorry for the people who ate it. But the real genius was in the dignity. The grandmother who set a bowl of potato soup before her children the same way she would have set a roast. We lost something when we forgot that feeding your family, whatever it takes, is an act of profound love. Drop a comment. And if this is bringing back memories, please like and subscribe. Number 10, banana bread. Every banana bread your mother ever made was, in its DNA, a Depression-era act of refusal. An overripe banana transformed rather than thrown away. It became the most baked item during the COVID-19 pandemic, when the world rediscovered the Depression instinct to make something from what you have left. Number 9, tomato soup cake. Campbell's condensed tomato soup poured into cake batter in place of eggs, butter, and milk. Moist, spiced, surprisingly good. The vegan baking community adopted it decades later, completely unaware that a Depression-era grandmother invented it first. Number 8, hasty pudding cornmeal, molasses, and nutmeg, stirred and baked until set. Eleanor Roosevelt put this on the White House menu to honor what ordinary Americans were eating. It had been sung about since colonial times, and by the 1930s it had come full circle, from founding-era comfort to Depression survival. Number 7, slug burger ground meat blended with soy flour and regular flour, fried and served in a bun for 5 cents. Named after Depression slang for a nickel, born in Corinth, Mississippi. Corinth still holds an annual slug burger festival. The rest of America forgot it the moment it could afford a real beef patty. Number 6, peanut butter stuffed onions. A whole onion hollowed out, packed with peanut butter, and roasted until sweet and creamy. This was not improvisation. It was an official meal recommended by the U.S. Bureau of Home Economics. Translation: the federal government looked at the American pantry and said, peanut butter inside an onion is the best we can offer. Number 5, vinegar pie. A custard pie where vinegar replaced lemon. Every pantry had vinegar when citrus was too expensive to buy. Vinegar pie is built on the refusal to say, we cannot have dessert. Your grandmother knew that insistence on sweetness in hard times was not indulgence. It was survival of a different kind. Number 4, crackers and milk soda crackers broken into a bowl, cold milk poured over, eaten with a spoon. On the nights when there was no fire, no gas, no food to cook. This was dinner. This is not a recipe. This is a record of how bad it got. Number 3, corned beef, jellied salad, canned corned beef suspended in lime gelatin with peas, molded in a loaf pan and served cold. But here is where it gets truly poignant. A woman who made a molded salad in the depths of the Depression was a woman who still had standards. We are still a family who sits down to dinner. Number 2, Kraft macaroni and cheese introduced in 1937. 19 cents, 10 minutes, enough for a family of 4. We have forgotten this was born in desperation. Your grandmother did not buy it because it was nostalgic. She bought it because 19 cents was 19 cents. Number 1, bread and butter. A slice of bread, a scraping of lard, because butter was 24 cents a pound, and that was too much. Eaten 3 times a day when nothing else was there. Eleanor Roosevelt put it on the White House menu to honor what ordinary Americans were eating. No technique, no recipe, just bread, and whatever you could spread on it, and the quiet knowledge that tomorrow you would have to find a way again. These 25 meals are not recipes from a hard time. They are a record of who your grandparents were. People who made something from nothing, who fed their families without apology, who found a way to put sweetness on the table when the world offered none. We lost something when bread became a side dish instead of a meal, when foraging became embarrassing, when a cake without eggs became unthinkable. Your grandmother knew how to do all of it without reading a single article about sustainability or zero waste living. And maybe the most important thing these 25 forgotten meals can teach us is this: the act of feeding someone, whatever it costs, whatever it takes, has always been an act of love. Hit subscribe for more lost American memories and forgotten wisdom. These stories deserve to be remembered.